wear this watch right here to track it. And, you know, how many of you guys out there think that when you wear a Fitbit or a watch that tracks your steps or your calorie intake every day, that it's like 100% accurate? Raise your hand. Nope. Nobody thinks it's accurate? Okay, so why do you think we wear it? That's a great question, right? If you know going in it's not totally accurate, but you wear it anyway, what do you get out of that? Well, I think what I get out of it is I know I'm a little bit better today than I was yesterday. And that is the goal, to move yourself forward in such a way that you're a little bit better than you were yesterday. And so one of the ways I did that this weekend was by going into Command and improving my health score in my database. And I'm going to, Cole's going to show you guys a screen right now. And when I first saw this, Jessica Ward, you showed it to me, and I really didn't get it. But I got it out this weekend, and I thought, you know, I'm going to really try to learn this. So I was looking at how can I get to 100% with each contact that I have in my database. And so that's what I did. And I didn't get every single person to 100%, but I think the lowest score that I got out of 100 people, this is what I did, was 92. So I improved the health scores from 92 to 100%. And that was really pretty cool. So I wanted to show you how I did that. So I'm going to ask Cole if I can share my screen now, and I'll figure out if I can get there. Here we go. So you see, this is one of my contacts in my database, and my database is full of agents just like you guys. And you can see over here that this person's health score is 64%. That means I'm missing a few things, and I'm probably missing something that's kind of big in the 20% range, which would be a name. Well, I got that. An email address. Well, I got that right here. A phone number. Yep, I got the phone number right there. And then the address. Wow, I don't have the address, as you can see. So what I do is I just go up here and I click on edit. Hopefully this will work all right. And I'm going to go to add more information. You can see I have some tags up here already. So add additional contact information. And I know the value of me adding a home address, which is actually going to be the office address, is 20%. So that's going to improve my health score just in 1 minute. Oops, hold on. Here we go. There it is. There's the address that I was looking for. I did enough of these to know exactly what I'm looking for this weekend. And then there's the Facebook URL. And that is going to give me I'm going to add 4% by finding the right Facebook. So you can see how easy that was. And I actually timed myself a few times just to see about how long is it taking me. So on the short side of everything, it was about less than 2 minutes per contact. And on the long side, when I actually do research, it was actually more like 4 minutes per contact. So it wasn't hard. I got 100 of them done today, and I improved my health. So I feel really good about it.
That is so amazing, Pam. Okay, so here's the thing, and I need everybody to understand. Pam, would you think of yourself as a techie?
You know better than that, Cole.
I know the answer to that, and it would be no, and yet look what you've been learning. You're getting it under your belt, and you actually just taught people how to do something. That's
yeah,
amazing.
It's actually easier than you think it is, and to me, it was one of the very first things I could do to improve my health overall, and super simple.
I love it.
I hope you guys will join in the Monday challenge and get some of that done today.
Please do, everybody, please do. Okay, so Pam, I think I'm going to invite somebody new in with us if I can. And Jennifer, I want to bring you into our conversation. If you can just unmute yourself and come on in. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm awesome, awesome. So we're going to be talking about culture for a minute. We have something really cool for Red Day. Having said that, though, you did something, I saw you do something really, really cool this weekend, and you really helped somebody out on your, in Facebook, and it was actually something I thought you could share with us. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I believe it was last week, Jason Abrams talked about, I don't know the exact date, but you can look back on the Pivot Shift Ahead page about how we can support our communities right now. And he said, this is what I heard. Make a list of those businesses that you love and you want to help, and it's about service right now, and talk to them about doing an interview with them and just showcasing them. So Jason Abrams has been very helpful to me. He actually forced me into a 10K race, the Wonder Woman race last year. Did it with a client, and it was amazing. And the connections I got off of that, it was just about being in collaboration with an old client. So whatever Jason says, it's like, figure it out, do it. So I made a list, and I just reached out to a couple at the beginning because I wasn't sure how this was going to go, and I just needed to bite it off in small chunks. I started off with Vino at the Landing, which is my favorite wine bar and retail wine store, and I have loved going there for years. It is my cheers bar. The atmosphere is great, the food is great, but it's really the staff I have missed and the management. So I reached out to them and said, would you want to do this for 10 minutes, talk about you, how we can support you, what are your hours, that kind of thing. I had so many great conversations with Tara, the manager, over the weekend, because we were putting together our notes and what we were going to say and what the point of the whole thing was. Mm-hmm. I found out through the conversations that they have actually provided food for Valley Medical respiratory therapists because some of their clients work at Valley. Wow. And so while I'm sitting there, wanting to showcase them, they're actually saying how they're helping the community and they want to do Swedish next. And she said to me how much she has missed the connection with the people coming through. And so just to chat about how she's doing personally, and then to do the live yesterday, we had technical difficulties, but I was like, just do it, just keep going. At 9 o'clock this morning, we had 231 views. But more importantly, I had private messages of people in the community that weren't my friends saying, thank you so much. The owner thanks you for what you've done. And it had nothing to do with me. It was, I'm supporting them. I love them. How can I help them? And actually several people went and bought a lot of wine this weekend because they're having some great sales. And then this morning I did another video with Rebecca Roman with Just for Them gift baskets out of Maple Valley. Same deal. Just to encourage and support, because we can still support these small companies and do good in the community. So that's what I've been up to. It's not been easy, but definitely the first one was the hardest. And so not a Zoom expert, but having fun with the community.
How amazing that is, right? I mean, talk about really getting in touch with the community and making sure that you are touching hearts, and then, by the way, touching minds on that, because I'm sure that also increases your mind share with people in our area. So I just thought that was so cool. I'm so glad that you shared that with us. I really, really appreciate it. Now we get to share something else. So if we look at Red Day, one of the things that we already have solidified for Red Day is a really cool video idea. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Red Day looks a little different this year because, we're supposed to stay home and stay healthy and honor the governor's requests. And so one of the ideas that we did come up with was putting together a video, all of us, 5 to 7 seconds of a message to first responders that we can send out to a wide range of folks in the area. And so we put together a video, and so you can involve your kids. You don't have to say anything. You can hold up a sign. You can have a message. You can, whatever you want, creative license. But we're asking for them to be 5 or 7 seconds, so we can all come up with something for 5 or 7 seconds. We have a sample that Cole's going to play, and Maddie Gordon is going to put the whole thing together. So we need either your video texted. Is that a word? Texted. It is now. Texted to Maddie or emailed to her by May 4th. So today, just do your 5 to 5 to 7 second video. She's going to put it together in a video montage, and we're going to send it out. So that's it.
So let's show everybody what that actually looks like. So let me just, let's see. Whoops. All right. Hang with me, everybody. Technical difficulties, please stand by. All right. Here we go. We'll probably have music overplaying some of this part, I think.
Yeah.
Hello, we want to say thank you so much for all you do. We truly appreciate you. Thank you.
From my home to yours, thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for going on the front lines and giving everything you've got to keep us safe.
Jennifer, I love the costume. I think that was awesome.
I can't do anything serious, so there you go.
Never, never, never.
No.
Well, you know what? This is such a great idea. So all it takes, everybody, is doing 5-10 seconds worth. It doesn't have to be very long. It's just to say thank you. We'll package this up as a video. We'll send it out to all of you guys. We'll put it on our Facebook pages. You'll be able to share that out with anybody you know who's a first responder, who is one of the essential workers. And it's just our way to make sure that we're saying thank you to everybody. So Jennifer, I just want to say thank you so much to the whole culture community from both Keller Williams Mountain Sound and Keller Williams Puget Sound. I know you guys are working really hard to make sure that we're staying connected in our community.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Bye. All righty then. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other things that we have coming up. I want to let you know about what we've got coming up this week. So really important, of course, we're almost all the way through today. We've got our joint team meeting. Then this afternoon we have Mindset Matters with Rita. Couple things I'm just going to point out, highlights for the week. Do not miss this week's Eavesdrop on the Top. That is at 4 o'clock. Then on Wednesday, 6 Personal Perspectives with Brian Manowis. And if you haven't taken that one yet, you have got to take that class with Brian. He is extraordinary at mindset. And the 6 Personal Perspectives is one of Gary's absolute foundational courses, if not all of the foundational courses. Then we have on Thursday, the couple of things we do. One is very, very popular. It's our Zoom training with Andrea Cruz. She does a great job with that. And then we have at 3 o'clock Business by the Numbers this week. That will be with Rich Lucas. And then on Friday, want to make sure that you join John for your piece of the pie. Fantastic week coming up. Want to make sure you guys can attend. Now, another thing I did want to show you right now is a wonderful Facebook group, and it is called Pivot Shift Ahead. If you haven't seen this, you want to take a look at it. And so let me show this here. So this is on Facebook. It is a private group, Pivot Shift Ahead. And this is actually a Facebook group for anybody of any brokerage at all. Keller Williams put this together because there is such a gap in training and in coaching for any of the companies that are out there. It's very similar to our Thrive Forward Facebook page, and there's some really great content for you guys. So I just wanted to show you, as you go in here, you can keep going in. There's just great, great, great classes that they're showing, great videos that they're showing. There was this one, that was fantastic this morning, and I just loved it. Options instead of ultimatums. And there was a very cool one also, this one, and it is all about ideas on social media engagement. So I think that would be really fantastic for you guys to check that out. And make sure that you're just connected not only on our Facebook pages where we have a lot of our training going on, a lot of ideas. You guys are sharing some amazing things on both the Keller Williams Mountain to Sound, the Keller Williams Puget Sound, and then the Thrive Forward page. By the way, all you guys in the Thrive Forward community, we're really glad that you are taking part in that. And we're glad you're here with us today. So let's go ahead though, and I want to talk about this wonderful thing called Bold Pivot. Now, I want to find out from you guys how many of you are taking part in Bold. So I'm going to throw a poll up here and we're going to take a look at this for just a second. So do me a favor. Here's the question for you. I want to find out, are you attending Bold? So your answer is going to be, I've already registered. I am registering today. I'm thinking about registering. I need more info, please. And Bold, what is that? So let's get your answers going. Ooh, look at all the people already signed up for Bold Pivot. I love that. Still thinking about registering. We have quite a few people on for that. I get that. All right, let's go for just a few more seconds here. I'm going to go for a full minute, give you guys time. Oh yes, we are in there. It's interesting how we're almost even between I've already registered and I'm thinking about registering. Very good. So let's take another 15 seconds on that. Oh, we're getting a lot of good answers here, guys. So keep going on that. Thank you so much. And then 5 more seconds. Good, good, good. And let's go ahead and take a look at our poll here. I'm gonna go stop my share here for a second. All right, so here's what we have. We have 41% already registered and 41% thinking about registering. Is that incredible? Oh my gosh. Well, I gotta tell you, I have this amazing friend that is joining us today, and she happens to be a Bold coach. And the one thing I love about it is that she's actually a female Bold coach. So I'm going to ask my dear friend Denise Meyers to come on in. Denise, come on in. How are you, my friend?
I am doing great. Hello, everyone.
So good to see you.
It's so fun to see. I was looking at the names and the participants, and I know so many of you, and it's just so great to see you in this format. So thank you so much, Cole and Pam and Dennis and everybody for having me on today. Pam and Cole reached out to me and said, hey, would you come and share what Bold Pivot is about? And absolutely. And I'd given some slides, and then Cole, I decided I would rather just talk to you guys. Is that okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. So I see that there's already 23 of you who are registering or registered already for Bold Pivot. Great job, because we know that those who act fast and jump all in are the ones who succeed at the highest level. So I'm excited to experience it with you. You know, what is Bold Pivot? Well, Gary said to the Bold coaches, as we had to pivot what we were doing, he wanted Bold to be about 4 things. Now, of those 4 things, the very first one is the same thing, the same topic that Gary talks about in the first chapter of all of his books. So if anybody, let's just have some fun. There's no real prize, although bragging rights. What is the first chapter of every single one of Gary's books about? You could pop it into the chat box and we'll see who wins first. So for those of you, if you haven't put it in yet, the very first thing that Bold Pivot is about is mindset. That's the first chapter of, oh, Ashley just got it. Ashley, you get a house, girlfriend. I love that. So yes, it's about mindset. We have to work on what's going on in our mindset first. Now, what I also really appreciate from Gary is this. He says, you can't control external forces. You can only control how you respond. And you need to respond or pivot quickly. What do we need to respond? Quickly. That's right. So we have to respond quickly. And those of you who've already registered for Bold, well, you get it. We got to find out what's working right now. So on May 5th, The bold experience is starting. Now there's 4 key takeaways. So the first one will be mindset. And quite frankly, here's what Gary says. You got to get up every day, stick to your schedule. If your previous schedule said 5 a.m., read a book at 5:30, do my exercise at 6 o'clock, stick to the schedule, right? That hasn't changed. This is not a vacation. This is a different way of doing business. Number 2, Gary says that we have to figure out how to do more with less. Do more with less. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, I don't even like the word less. And then I realized do more with less. Okay, so could we use command to do more business in less time? I like that one. Could we use Facebook ads to get more leads for less money? Well, I like that one too. So we do have to learn how to do more with less. So we'll be helping you use the KW opportunities that are available to you to do more with less time, less effort, less money, so that you can live that life that you truly are intended to live. Now, number 3, Gary says we have to double down on our leads. So number 3 is double down on our leads. So right now, if I said, okay, if you're doing 3 hours of lead generation, now I need you to do 6 hours. Well, I've just lost all of you, right? So that's not what we're talking about. Although what we do know is 80% of an agent's business on average comes from 1 to 2 sources. And those sources, in almost all cases, are past clients and your sphere, or in other words, your database. So if your database, if fewer people do deals in your database, let's just put it this way. Let's say that your number of deals drop in the area by 10%. So if you're going to do 20 deals, now you're going to do 18. You say, oh, not that big of a deal. Well, what if prices drop 10%? All right, so now we got a 20% drop. So instead of 20 deals, you're going to do 16 deals. That's sort of a hit to the income, right? And now, what of that database, 10 to 15% of them can't get qualified any longer. Well, now you've dropped down to 14 transactions. So I'm not saying those are the numbers. I'm giving you an example. So Gary says we have to double down on those leads. We're still going to take care of our database, which is so many of you have been doing these last couple of weeks, having conversations and relationships and building value, the right to call them, right? Now, we may need to add an additional lead source or 2 lead sources. And how many contacts or leads will you need from that group to hit the original goal? So we'll be diving deep into those numbers of real estate. Now, the very 4th one is what we call market of the moment. Market of the moment. Now, your market of the moment, of course, if you guys remember, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Your market of the moment is different than my market of the moment. And I get that. So how are we going to handle that? Well, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. Here's what Bold Pivot looks like. Now, you guys are on the West Coast, so your schedule is going to be 11 to 1. You can write that down. And Bold is 4 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, on Tuesday and Thursday, this is the part where you got to show up to class. From 11 to 1 on Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to get to experience multiple Bold coaches. Different Bold coaches are presenting different pieces of the material. So you'll probably get to experience some of your favorites you haven't seen in a while. And that's content on Tuesday and Thursday. On Wednesday and Friday, 11 to 1, there's something called Coach's Corner. And Coach's Corner is where you're going to jump in if needed. If not, you can just go to work. If needed, you can jump on to Market of the Moment with a coach that's handling Market of the Moment that's working with best practices to succeed in any market in an area like yours. Phoenix agents can jump on something different. Texas can do with a different coach, Market of the Moment. I love that. Hey, Shirley. Oh my gosh, good to see you. I just love your smile. I miss your smile. So good to see you. I see that. Heidi, good to see you. Ty, Mike. Oh my gosh, good stuff there. I love all that. So we're going to be doing Market of the Moment. Now, on top of all of that, those of you, I'm curious, let me know if you've already jumped on to the Bold Pivot Facebook page. Here's the deal. We're already coaching. Bold Pivot, even though it starts Tuesday, May 5th, we're coaching you right now. I did a coaching session last Thursday. I was just on for about 20 minutes, and I had all these folks jump in and say, Denise, I just got a deal based upon that 20 minutes this morning. So we are already coaching Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. Well, actually, our time will be 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a daily basis. You can jump in, and there's always a Bold Coach online to answer your questions and help you with Market of the Moment. Now, Bold is normally $799, and here's the truth. It's such a value. It's really irresponsible financially not to take Bold Pivot, because here it is. It's $99. That's it for 4 weeks of coaching, 4 days per week, plus getting your questions answered by a Bold Coach in Market of the Moment pretty much every day. Now, John Prescott did say we could take Sunday off, so that was very nice of him. Yeah. Although we'll probably be checking that page. All right, you guys, so let's do this. If you are all in, put your name in the chat box, and I'm going to stay on the call for a little bit and answer questions, and yet I just want to see who's all in. And let's go ahead and put that poll up one more time, Cole, and I'll answer any questions you guys have. Just thank you for being on.
Okay, so here's our poll again, guys. Oh, you're on for Bold. I've already registered. I am registering today. I'm thinking about registering. I need more info, please. Or Bold, what is that? Hopefully no one is saying Bold. What is that? Do you know one thing while we're doing this poll, Denise, how amazing is it that everyone gets a lot of different Bold coaches? I mean, you get, it's such a cool way now that we can do Bold and have everybody take part. I'm really excited about this.
Oh, I am too. I mean, I get to learn from other coaches because I never get to see them, right? So I'm going to be learning right along with you and experiencing it with my market center as well. It's really, our goal with our market center is 100% participation.
I love it. All right, so we're going to take about 5 more seconds and we'll do this. And oh my gosh, looks like we have quite a few people more. Look at this. We were at 41% each before, and now look at that. We're at 46 to 29. So I think some people actually decided that they were going to go ahead and sign up. Sounds like people are really taking advantage of Bold. You just can't go wrong with it, can you?
You really can't. I mean, 4 days per week of coaching, and it's just so much opportunity, you guys. Like, here's the deal. Obviously, it's not the amount of money, right?
Right.
Cole, what I think that people are really asking is it right? Is like, am I willing to do what it takes to succeed in this market?
Right. Absolutely.
And there are people succeeding everywhere in this market, and I believe that you can do it.
Do you know
I believe you can do it today.
Do you know what's fascinating? And so I was talking to an agent outside of our office this weekend, and not every office is like this, but for her particular office, her leaders were telling her to go get a part-time job. And what we're saying is stay in activity, lean in, and there really is no better way to do that without going to Bold. Bold is it right now. And we do have some questions here. Let's see. So first of all, we have, oh, wow, I love this one. So I would love to sponsor an agent in our office. Reach out to me if you would love to go, and money is tight right now for Bold.
Thanks, Carmen. That's cool.
Love it. Your leadership team really loves you, and we want you, this is from Carmen, we want you to come out of this shift stronger than ever. We believe in you. Please sign up. We would love to see you sign up. Love it. And Pam is saying, I love this. Oh, look at, I'm in. Julie, look at you go. You were just in. Chris Ranch, you're signing up. Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions for Denise? Oh, Guru says he will sponsor someone as well. Oh, I think we've got a challenge going on here. I wonder, anybody else willing to sponsor somebody? Put it in the chat.
Don't challenge me. Oh, those fighting words there. I love it.
Energy Properties will challenge. Way to rock, Lisa. That's fantastic. Actually, I love our office. You guys are amazing. That's so great. I tell you what, people are stepping up. By the way, what a great cultural thing to sponsor somebody, guys. That is really, really incredible. Hey, Gwen says she is in. She's going to match Guru. Love it. Love it.
Here's the thing, Cole. You've got 90 people, 91 agents on this call.
Right.
And you've got about 27 who said they're all in, right?
Right.
And that's about what, 25% of the market center. And if I can just be honest, you guys, those are the ones who are always all in, testing things out. They don't know how it's going to work out. They don't know all the details. They just know they're all in. And I'm gonna just share with you guys, look, I know this for sure. When agents take Bold, they do more business. I don't know if you're going to get the average of 14 pieces of business. You know what? I get that that's probably not going to happen, although for some it is going to happen. And what if for 99 bucks you got one piece of business?
Amazing. The
one
ROI is huge on that.
Yep. What if you walked out of Bold with one piece of business and 4 in the pipeline? See, we do have to jump in. We got to jump in the water, and we got to put that energy in be, do, achieve. We got to be the agent who says, I'm all in. I don't know what it's going to look like. We have to do the things that those top agents do, which is signing up. I don't know what I'm signing up for. Sign me up, coach. Get me in. So you can achieve and have what those agents have. You got more in you, ladies and gentlemen, and I believe in you, and I'm so excited to see you there. So reach out to me. Let's start coaching today. Let's get you on that closed Facebook page, and let's start. We got a lot of work to do, you guys.
Awesome. Hey, Denise, thank you so much for being with us today. We so appreciate it. And I got to tell you, I cannot wait till Bold comes around. Let me show everybody where you can go on to register. You simply go on here to mapscoaching.com. Really simple. The very first thing that shows up is going to be the registration for Bold. So if everybody can do me a favor, I know we'll do it out in the ether there, but everybody give Denise a round of applause. I know you're out there doing it with me.
I'll applaud you guys too. And yes, other agents can sign up for sure. Invite your friends.
Absolutely.
Invite any salespeople. I put it on my closed Facebook page, and I had my friend who's the top insurance agent ask if she could bring her whole team. I said, come on over. Just change real estate for insurance, right?
Love it, love it. Well, Denise, thank you so much again for joining us today. We really appreciate your time, my friend. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so now let's have a little bit of fun. I am going to ask Mr. Dennis Ranch to come on in here, if he will. Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I am good. Okay, so today our topic is fear or facts. You choose, and you are the facts, F-A-C-T-S, facts man. And we wanted to kind of deep dive into some of the data that we've got out there in the market so people can really become masters of the market of the moment. So you want to share with us some of that?
Well, I have some really, really, really good news.
Oh.
We are not in the oil business. Oil took a dive today. It's like down to nothing. So that means our gas prices are going to be going down. So that's good news. But I do have I'm going to share a screen if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Can you see that?
Sure can.
Okay. So what this is a 6 month of under contracts and sold on a week by week basis. The reason I wanted a week by week is because we just had what is it called? The COVID-19 vacation, where we couldn't go to work, or at least we could go to work, sort of, but not like we used to. And if you look, this is the week ending 4/13. The blue one, the blue line, is under contract. It's up 26.7% versus 6 months ago. The solds are up 2.4% versus 6 months ago. And then if you go all the way back, let's see, where did we start this thing? What date was it?
It was the 25th of March.
Yeah, but restaurants went into it about the 16th, didn't they?
Yes.
So look at I don't know if you can see my arrow. I think you can.
Yes, we can.
Let's look at the numbers here. Oh, here, let me add one more thing to this. I'm going to put the for sales. The for sales are the red. You'll notice that we're a bit low on inventory, which is kind of interesting. We have plenty of buyers, but not enough sellers. So if you look at this week, we had 843 under contract, 638 closed. This is King and Pierce County only, okay? So it's kind of interesting to see that. And then if I go over to the sales rate, these are how many went under contract.
Wow.
So this last week, 843 in King and Pierce County, 754 the week before. The low was the third week, which was 621, and 766 was the first week that we were under this thing. But if you look at that, and then you look over to, gosh, let's look at December over here. We're doing a lot more than we were doing in December and November. So the question is, are you getting your piece of the action?
That is a great question for everybody. It's still out there, isn't it, Dennis?
It's still there. And I would say if you've got sellers who are hesitant to put their house on the market, they're missing out. They've got a huge opportunity right now. I was talking to a lot of our top agents are getting multiple offers still on some of their listings. So I would say if you've got anybody that's sitting back waiting for this thing to be over, tell them to get their house on the market now.
Absolutely. Such an important point. You know, it's interesting, Dennis, I've been talking to a lot of our agents, and some of them are saying they were busier than they've ever been.
Yeah, it's true. If you've been working, you're busy right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the thing, guys, it's stay busy. That's the single most important thing you can do, is stay in activity. We're talking about it a lot. There are so many things that you can do. By the way, we started something brand new this morning called Massive Action Monday. And we had a really great brainstorm around what people can do to stay in action. I want to make sure everybody joins us for Massive Action Monday next Monday at 10 o'clock to stay in action. Fantastic, Dennis. That's extraordinary. Can you come back next week and show us some more?
Sure. It's updated weekly, so I can be happy to. But I think Nykole's going to go into how the agents can pull the stuff up themselves.
She is. And so I am going to go ahead and ask my dear friend Nykole to just go ahead and come on in and join us, if you will. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. So I just wanted to say I love what Dennis is sharing, and his information and those graphs I am going to be making sure that we get on our intranet pages and the Thrive Forward page so that people can share those graphics, as well as I'm going to show everyone how to pull the data themselves really quick. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share screen.
Go for it.
In there. So get on the MLS. So I use it as a search. And so for the sake of this, we're just going to do a general search, just like you were going to set up for a client or look for listings for them. And so continuing on with the same weeks that Dennis has, and I will show in a graph, an Excel sheet that we can create for that. We're going to look at all actives, okay? And we're going to go back to the date, the 7th through, sorry guys, I messed up, 7th through the 13th, and we're going to hit OK on that. And we're just going to do Pierce County. We can do both if you wanted, but the cool thing is you can manipulate this information to really have anything. Let's say you wanted, Jerry Lawless called me and she said, can you do Federal Way for me? I'm going on a list, I'm presenting an offer, and I think the house is overpriced. Can you look at this? So you can really do condos, residential, whatever you want, price points, all that kind of stuff. But for the sake of what I'm going to show you guys, we're just going to do Pierce. And so if we just look at actives between the 7th and the 13th, going along with the dates of Dennis's, you're just going to scroll down and see there was 141 actives. Okay. So you're going to write that down. And then you're going to go back up. And the best way that I have found to do this is just to copy, unclick that, and then I'm just going to look at all pendings. I'm going to leave pending short sale out, but I'm just going to look at, let's just look at all of these, okay? And then I'm going to copy and paste the date back in there. Super simple.
I never knew to do that. What is that?
Yep, so that gives me all that. If you wanted to look at contingent, you can add that to your spreadsheet. However you want to manipulate the data, it's so cool. So then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see there's 271. So holy moly, if you're looking at, you know, actives compared to pendings, that is almost double. So then I'm going to unclick these again. And I'm going to go to sold, and the same thing, I'm going to copy and paste that date into there. Just make sure if you're using that you follow the same dates. You know, we're going Tuesday to that Wednesday, so that way, and then sold was 193. So scroll down again. We're at 193 for solds. And then I also like to look at canceled and expireds. To me, I just think that that's valuable information to see, you know, what's coming off the market. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just keep them as one group together. There was 18. Okay. So that's how you can poll and then, you know, put it in a spreadsheet. I have one created. I'm going to send it out to everyone so that you have that information, but you could literally do anything. So let's say if I wanted to pick a city really quick in Pierce County. So I'm going to pick Puyallup because that's where I live. So I'm going to go over here and highlight Puyallup really quick. And the same thing, I'm going to go back to active. That date already was there because it's smart, and go down, and now there's 24. So you can go literally do anything. Let's say I wanted to go in Puyallup and look at a certain price point. So I'm going to do, you know, 300,000 to 350 in Puyallup during that date, and you can scroll down and there is one. So you can really see, let's say you had a seller that wanted to list, they either wanted to list at 350 or 365. You could literally even go, okay, 350 to 360 and see how many were listed. Sorry, my computer is being a little funky. There was 0. And then, you know, just see what their competition is. You could even go 360 to 375, a little bit higher. There was 0. So there's really no competition for them right now. But if you went 340 to 350, you could go down and there's still 0. So, you know, that's a good sign to them right now that there's no, just no competition for them. But you can, like I said, you can literally manipulate this data. And so then you would just do it again if you wanted to go back to the previous week, which is Dennis's had, so you want to do, we did the 7th through the, you want to do the 14th, and then it'd go down to tomorrow. You'd hit okay, and then see all the actives. Hold on, I have Puyallup checked over here, so I want to make sure I uncheck that. Still Pierce County, and there was 195. So you just create doing that data every single week. And to me, it's, I don't know if it's the right way, but it's been the only way I've known how to pull data in the sake of being able to research it right in front of my face on the MLS, which is really cool. So.
Love it, love it, love it. Gosh, thank you so much for that. I actually learned some things I didn't even know. So that was fantastic, my friend. Thank you so much. So, let's go ahead and bring in our good friend, Mr. John Hanson. John, why don't you come on in? How you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome, my friend. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is our legal update topic for today?
Well, our topic is about giving notices appropriately and being aware of what can happen if you're not including all parties to the transaction, to all of the contractual information. So first of all, I wanted to make mention to not forget that when you send any offer or counter offer or notice of acceptance or notice of termination, any notices whatsoever, the purchase and sale contract on the first page down at the bottom must, in order to be allowed to do e-signatures, must contain both emails for both sides. So on the listing side, you've got to have the listing broker's email address, and then you've got to have the listing firm's email address, and the same on the other side, the buyer side. So both of them. So whenever a notice is sent, it must be sent to both. I know we have a provision written in one of the paragraphs, I think K or M, that says that that if there's been a confirmation of acceptance via some other method, then it can be allowed, but why take that chance? It's best to just always get in the habit of including both the other broker and that firm in all communications to make sure that, you know, legally notices have been given. Then I also wanted to make mention that we've had this problem recurring in that we arrive at a purchase price on our agreement, but sometimes it's by way of a Form 36, a counteroffer. And when this goes to the lender, or when this goes to the appraiser, or when this goes to somebody important in the transaction, they don't ever get that Form 36. And so they think the purchase price is what was originally on the Form 21 or 23 or 25 or 28. They don't know that there is an addendum to this, a Form 36 counteroffer to this. So we want to make sure that the relevant parties get a copy of this. Also, if there is a Form 22A N, which is for the appraisal, or a Form 22, that's Form 22A, trying to remember which one it is. Form 22. I don't have my prompt here, so let me just guess that it's the one where, oh, I know what it is. It's the Form 22AD, and that's the one where if there is a low appraisal, that the buyer agrees to bring in extra money and to make up that difference. And then we also, anyway, so anything that's going to affect that purchase price, we've got to make sure that information moves on to the lender and to the appraiser. So we've had too many situations come up where the appraiser has gone out with old information, has appraised the property to the old price, not knowing that there was a negotiated new price based on one of these factors I've just been talking about. And so, so we get a low appraisal. So we want to make sure that whatever we're negotiating, whatever we're doing, negotiating based on the 35R, sometimes we negotiate a different price on that. Okay, that price, whatever that price is arrived at, has to get to the lender and to the appraiser so that they can make that adjustment and not wait, because it's sad for me to see how many deals are killed because the brokers didn't get that information over to the lender and the appraiser. Therefore, the appraisal came in at the old price and not at the new negotiated price.
Okay. Hey, John, there's a question from Victoria, and she says, on a counter offer with a Form 36, when they write see counter offer form, does the buyer and seller need to initial the statement or just the Form 36?
Well, again, this causes some confusion. So for other parties who are trying to assist in the transaction. So I think that that when this comes in, I think it's important to both have it on the Form 36 and to probably go to the main purchase and sale contract, let's say the Form 21, and you're going to line out those things that are changed by that Form 36. And then do you need the initials? Probably not, because we have the Form 36 already addressing those things. But it wouldn't hurt to have them in there so that this problem doesn't rear its ugly head at us later on with a bad appraisal. So I would do both.
Great, great. All right, Dennis, you want to chime in there?
I was just agreeing with John. I would definitely get them initialed.
All right,
There's
sounds
no
good.
question that way.
Hey, John, thank you so much for your updates. I love it. So a reminder, every day at 10 o'clock, John has a wonderful little short special. It's called Compliance Corner with John Hanson. I know people are getting a lot out of that, so make sure that you check that out every day. This is a very fluid situation that we have, so it does change quite a few of the things that we do talk about. So make sure you're there. Hey, John, thank you again for keeping us abreast of all these things. I sure do appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions about what's happening and what are the facts in lending. I know all of you guys, I've talked to quite a few of you who are going, okay, what is really happening with all the lending? So we have a great guest right now, and his name is Greg Ocken, and he is with Movement Mortgage. Hey, Greg, come on in.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, I appreciate you having me, and I'm going to try to answer those questions, give you guys a little perspective. I got 3 or 4 points. I got notes to myself here, probably 3 bullet points on each topic. I'm going to try to keep this short like Dennis, and Dennis, someday your beard can get as long as this. So we're all hoping to see that. Real quick, oh, there it is. Nice, Dennis, nice. So I want to give 30 seconds or less because it's super important for everyone to understand how lenders make money, and that automatically will determine or make a better understanding of why it's so fluid. If your lender, whoever you're using, is saying it is very fluid and it's changing daily, that's because it is. I start every morning printing a new cheat sheet and taping it to my laptop because every day the guidelines are moving. It is very fluid. So real quick, I wrote down some notes to take a very complex marketplace, try to summarize it in 3 or 4 bullet points. First off, whoever your lender is, whether it's a local lender, whether it's a credit union, whether it's a giant bank like Chase or Wells Fargo, we're using our money, right? So if your buyer needs $500,000, we give them our $500,000. In exchange, we get a promissory note, right? Your buyer is going to pay us back the $500,000 plus interest. We then bundle those up and go to the secondary market and say, hey, who wants to buy this promissory note? We sell it to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, and they give us back the $500,000 plus a little commission, right? Because they're going to make all the interest on it, not us. And then we just repeat and recycle that every single month. That's how lenders make money. Okay, we have to sell the loan that we originated because it's our money on the line. We got to replenish those funds. Now, traditionally, that's been a super safe investment, right? The economy is booming before the virus, unemployment numbers super low, and investors want that daily interest cash flow from these safe investments. Now, 2 things have changed in the marketplace that are really changing the game. One, obviously, every Thursday, the unemployment numbers come out and they're super high, right? That adds risk to the investor. Now, if you're an investor trying to buy mortgages to get daily cash flow, you might be concerned people can't make their mortgage payment because they might not have a job, right? So now that investment is not as attractive. The second part that's making these a little unattractive for investors is the government is really pushing the forbearance. And I'm going to talk 30 seconds real quick on forbearance here soon. So just a second reason why that investor may not get a monthly payment. Either they lost their job or they filed for forbearance. So now these investors are pulling back. They're like, maybe I don't want to buy as much mortgage-backed security investments. So, but they still want to keep operating their business. So they're saying, let's just buy the safe investments. So if they used to buy a wide range of product, now they're narrowing down what products they're going to invest. Now, as originators, again, banks, credit unions, local owners, whoever, we're not going to originate something if we have no one to sell it to, right? If no one's buying it. Okay. So where they're narrowing is probably where you all are seeing the pain. So I just want to give a few examples of that, and then we'll talk about how this can affect you and your buyer. So put yourself in the shoes of an investor of mortgage-backed securities. Who's at risk of not making their payment? Probably someone with lower FICO scores. So if your lender said, I could previously do a 580, now it's a 640, or I could previously do this, now it's that. That's why, because they're having a hard time selling those loans with lower FICO scores. If he needs down payment assistance, you probably have lenders not doing bond loans right now. Or, and this is kind of interesting, anything over about $500,000, because then it's considered non-conforming. And it's not fully backed by the government. And then when we pool these and sell them, we can't have more than 10% in that pool actually be high performing or high balance. Anything over $500,000 could become more expensive in the closing costs, maybe some more points. So we can talk about how to maybe ask for some more credits from the seller to still make the deal work. Or jumbo loans. Jumbo loans are still alive and they're still well, but I can tell you the vast majority of investors for jumbo loans have put, I don't want to say backed out, they've put on pause the buying of the jumbo loans. So again, you're an originator, you're going to originate a jumbo loan, 1 million, 3 million, 5 million bucks, you got nowhere to sell it to. You may not want to originate that loan until that market opens back up. A great example of this, it's been spreading around Facebook and whatnot, Chase Bank, right? Country's largest bank. They won't take any new applications unless it's 20% down with a 720 FICO. Now that's kind of an extreme this way. Some other folks are doing no changes at all and just going to take the risk and hold that money on their books and hopefully try to sell it. Or every other lender is doing something in between that range, okay? Now, I want to be quick on here. So how does this affect you as the realtor? What you need to do, I can say, number one, call your lender. If you have half a dozen buyers out there that you think are pre-approved and they may have put it on pause for a couple of weeks, or it has been difficult obviously to show homes, you're going to want to call them and ask them, hey, let's just take 10 minutes, let's review our handful of buyers. Are they still pre-approved? If they are not, right, your lender says, ooh, actually now they're a little too low here, or maybe they're over $500,000, they're in that high balance category, so now we need to pay some points, just so you can strategize with that lender. Okay, instead of asking for, and these numbers I'm just pulling out of the sky as an example, and instead of previously asking for like $7,000 in closing costs or $8,000, maybe we ask for $12,000 or even more in closing costs to pay for the points to still make it work. So I'm just encouraging all you to contact your lender and just kind of do a quick pipeline review of your active buyers out there shopping. Make sure they're still qualified, who needs to be reworked, who maybe needs to send to another lender. I can tell you personally, where I work, we put on pause for 60 days down payment assistance. So I refer those out. There's still a couple of the lenders that are doing them, but with higher FICO scores, or they have different levels of risk, they're willing to hold those on their books until they can find someone to sell them to. So just have that pipeline review. Also, again, I mentioned it earlier, if you have any buyers over that $500,000 loan amount, that's outside of the conforming limits, because anything conforming is the safe paper, right? That's what people want to invest in. Anything outside of conforming, low FICO, down payment assistance, over $500,000, that's the risky stuff, according to investors. So if your buyer's looking in that over $500,000 price point, call your lender. Talk about some strategies to keep them approved. And then lastly, jumbo, of course. So anything over $750,000 in King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties, definitely call your lender and go over some strategies there. Okay, I'm talking fast, I know, but I got two more points I want to make. So one of them is appraisals. That's a hot topic lately. You probably have heard that you can do drive-by only appraisals, or even something called desktop review appraisals. There is guidance from Fannie Mae and VA and FHA on all of that. But here's the the short end of it. It's not something we can request. It's not, oh, hey, I need to rush my timeline. Let me call my lender and just have them do an exterior only appraisal. That's not how it works. There's all kinds of checklists and forms that need to be filled out to see if an exterior is even eligible. So it's not something we as the lender or you as the realtor or the buyer, whoever can request, right? It's just something that may be chosen in the background. I can tell you drive-by appraisals on refinances. I haven't had any on purchases yet, but on refinances, they more times than not come in low. I don't know if appraisers are just worried since they didn't walk through the property to give it full value. But I was talking to some of my colleagues on the East Coast as well over the weekend, or maybe it's Friday. These days all blend together. But same thing. All of their, not all, the majority of their drive-by appraisals are coming in a little lower than what they typically see. So it's not something you want to be pushing for. Just know that it can happen due to the COVID-19 concerns. The other thing is just the flexibility in timelines. Right now, none of the appraisal vendors that we work with or my colleagues I've been talking to at other lenders can really rush an appraisal. Every appraiser is swamped. Everyone's backlogged right now. So they are taking a little longer. Even if you throw $200, $300, $400 extra at these appraisers, they may shorten the timeline by a day or two. So just be aware that appraisals out there are taking a little bit longer. Now, the last piece I want to talk about is forbearance, just because you're probably hearing that topic a lot. And I wanted to give you a lender's perspective on forbearance. If you have anyone in your database asking about it, please, I urge you to tell them to call their servicer directly, because it is a case-by-case basis. I don't care what Facebook says. I don't care who your cousin works somewhere and heard this through the grapevine, okay? Call your servicer, and they're going to give options. We have seen several options. Unfortunately, a common option I've seen is you can skip 3 months payments, but on that 4th month, it's due in full as a balloon payment. And at that point, I'm assuming people can't save up to make it. That's why they're calling in the first place. At that point, your loan is going to have to be renegotiated. It's going to have to be modified. Something's going to happen to it. Anytime they're in a forbearance, it may restrict their ability to refinance in the future. So if rates continue to drop further after the virus and they want to refi, may not be able to take advantage. If they're, let's say, in the service industry, and the CARES Act, that's the name of the bill that Congress passed, the CARES Act that allows for these. Let's say your database person is, a server or someone in that industry, they actually can ask for up to 12 months. So let's say they skip 12 months payments, and then let's say they only got into the loan with 0 equity, right? They did down payment assistance, or they just kind of limped in with 3.5% down FHA, and now they have a whole year's worth of payment being added on to the back end of their house. That may, that may put them into negative equity, right? That may make it harder for you to sell their house, to give them some net proceeds when this is all over. So certainly in terms of forbearance, advise people to call the servicer, think it through. If they are able to make their payment, they certainly should. If they cannot, that certainly is an option, but there could be some unintended consequences. So that's all I have. Please let me know if there's any questions out there. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Cole, I apologize for talking fast. I'm just worried to get everyone's in here on time.
Great, you did great. So how can people get in contact with you, Greg, if they've got more questions?
Yes, so you can call me. We'll put my number somewhere, I'm sure, but if you're listening, it's 253-426-0016, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you guys have out there.
That would be awesome. If you could put that in the chat for us, Greg, that would be fantastic. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. I know there was a lot of those questions that people had, so we appreciate you being our expert today.
Great, thank you.
Bye. All right, so I know that you guys also have lots of questions when it comes to title and escrow, and we have an amazing expert joining us today, and that is Becky Harper with Chicago Title. Hey, Becky, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Thanks for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
Okay, so give us the update on what's happening with title and escrow.
business sure looks different right now, doesn't it?
It
It's different for everybody, no matter who you're doing business with, even trying to go to the grocery store to buy groceries. In escrow, we are battling client fears all the time because this is not a normal process for most people, right? There's always uncertainty in what the next step is. But add on top of that, the COVID situation in the day-to-day business, and it can be challenging here at Chicago Title. And I can only speak for my company, but I will cover a broad escrow title situation that probably all companies are in as I go forward. But we've been really solid in our approach and effective communication, just really in hopes of easing our client fears, which is our biggest hurdle right now. Our operation, though, it's kind of been business as usual. Additional comfort, additional words of encouragement and confidence to our clients, any client, buyers, sellers, broker clients, lender clients. We're here to serve you, but we've had to really pivot. We've had to accept this change that we've all been handed. We've had to really adapt through the governor's stay-at-home, stay healthy orders. And what does that mean when we're used to clients walking in and out of our office every single day and driving to and from offices? So I train all of our staff. I'm usually in all 9 of our branches. I'm in the Seattle office right now, but I'm working from home, which is interesting. But we've had at our company a lot of our teams working from home for years. But when the stay-at-home, stay healthy order came through, we had to transition 75% of our staff members to work from home, which is a lot. But we have a team approach here. So it's seamless to the clients. And so we're hopeful that that calms concerns, calms fears. Like I said earlier, it's business as usual. It's just business done differently. Some of our teams are doing it from their home office, from their living room, right? Still with the same security measures in place that we need to have as a very large company. Protecting our non-public information for all of our clients, which is our top priority. But also being able to work remotely in a super efficient way to take our transactions from start to finish under normal circumstances, right? I think one of the biggest, I'll just speak to fears right now. One of the biggest fears has been regarding signing appointments. We have taken extreme safety measures. We've consolidated our branches from 9 to 6 to limit the number of staff in office, to limit the number of visitors. People come in by appointment only. What that allows us to do is maintain cleanliness, proper sanitizing when people come and go. We sanitize after every signing. We actually, a local vendor created for us these plexiglass partitions for all of our signing tables, which allows our signers to sit opposite of our clients with a great view, and all of our offices have a decent view in and of itself, but we can slide documents underneath the plexiglass to give that extra barrier of protection for everybody, which is really important. We give new pens out at every signing. There's no reusable pen. Everyone takes them home with them, like it or not. So those simple measures actually have been giving our clients a lot of peace of mind, and our notaries peace of mind as well. I think I've been hearing in our industry a lot of notaries going out to people's homes, and under certain circumstances that's necessary. Like if you have somebody with a compromised immune system, you need to send someone to their location under their terms, full on gear. We can sure accommodate that, but keeping everything in-house for us gives us control and keeps everybody safe. Our staff members, our clients, anybody coming in and out of our places of business. And like most companies you've heard are doing the drive-by signings. I like to say I like an order of fries with that signing, where our notaries will go down and meet them in a parking lot, at the curb of the office, in full attire, masks, gloves, with sanitation, hand sanitizer, things like that, to pass documents back and forth through the client's window. No matter the concern or the fear of the client, we are able to overcome that And it's just so unique and just gets down to basics. I'm not sure how we're going to do business the way we used to after all this is over. I know I'm going to be in there sanitizing all the rooms and cleaning everything, and we all have masks. In fact, there's my mask here. So it's going to be different, right? So those are basic fears for our clients that we're overcoming on a day-to-day basis. One of the things I think people in our world have heard a lot about are title report delays. So I know overall different title companies outsource their business differently. I can speak to our company where we utilize local title plants and outsource, and it's a healthy combination of the both. I checked our title turn times this morning for resales right now. 98% of them are going out in 3 days. The title reports for refis, 99% are going out in 2 days. So we are not seeing a lag time. So I want you all to be confident that any business directed at least our way, there doesn't seem to be a delay, which I'm grateful for. It does keep up that business as usual situation, which is really nice. And the other thing that really has changed lately with the stay-at-home, stay safe orders is our counties have also gone to remote. So a lot of the county recorders are actually working from home. And it's forced all the title companies to e-record, which is something that we've been doing for a long period of time. It hasn't really posed a hitch in what we do, but the benefit of this, there's no walk-ins to the county recorder's office any longer. So everything is done electronically. Our recording numbers are coming back so quickly. It is actually the most efficient I've ever seen it. So those are just some basic highlights. And I know the time has gone over a little bit. I think, like I said earlier, there's fears in escrow all the time. It's an uncertain process for most people. And then you compound that with everything that we're dealing with and how do you operate business as usual under these circumstances. I just want you to know that the professionals that you're dealing with are really taking this very seriously. Safety is our #1 concern for our staff members and in turn the clients. And we don't want anything to fall through the cracks. So our teams are super efficient. We are paperless until the point of loan documents arriving. And then we have key teams at every office to handle all of that. And then with the efficiency of the county recorder now, it's, I don't know, it's kind of beautiful on some level, but sure is different. Just seeing those plexiglass signings in our office is just, I don't know. How are we going to go back? I have no idea.
You know, that's the one interesting thing I've been having conversations with people is how much of this is actually going to stay. People are getting used to doing things a certain way. And like you're saying, it's even more in some way. So maybe those are just blessings in disguise as we go.
I think we'll be operating a lot more cleanly going forward. Not that we weren't clean before, but we learn a lot. We've learned a lot in this process. And so there won't be going back to the way it was 100%. We'll just do better, get smarter, and figure out how to keep everybody safe until, dare I say, the next one comes around. So
I hear you. Well, Becky, thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate you being with us and sharing actually some good news. That was good stuff.
Yeah, good news. All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so you know how they always say you save the best for last? Well, I am really excited because Mr. Bill Cox is joining us today, and we're really talking about how to run your business like a business. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm doing so well, I actually put on a real shirt today.
Oh my gosh, really? Everyone's shocked. Everybody's jaw just dropped when they heard about that. All right, so you are our expert in running a business like a business, and you actually shared some bullet points with me, and if it's cool with you, I'm going to share those with everybody, and we'll just kind of maybe, I've got 2 sets of them, so I'll go ahead and put those up on our screen, And we'll start with this first set of them. Hang on a second. So we have silver lining, coronavirus, managing your expenses, the Chris Ranch $1 million savings challenge, owner contributions. We'll go back to that. So this would be our first set. So walk us through some of these, would you?
Well, first of all, clearly there are going to be some silver linings from this coronavirus. And one of them, from my perspective, is that it gives us more time to actually work on our business. For most of us, we're doing less in our business. Even for those teams who are doing as much or more business as they were in the past, the fact that we're doing a lot of it remotely, not driving around, not going to the office, all those kinds of things should be saving us some time. So it gives us an opportunity to set ourselves up for running our business like a business. Clearly, we've got people of all levels on the call. I'm sure we've got people who have been doing this at a high level for decades, other people who are brand new. So everybody's going to have a different appreciation for some of these issues, but the one that I think is critical for everybody, regardless of what your level of business is the concept of managing your expenses. And this is true in both your business life and your personal life. And it's one of those things that Gary Keller has been super strong about in his message for us all along. And it's one of those things that I think we definitely need to take a very, very hard look at. And one of the people who has done this most successfully is Chris Ranch. He saved a ton of money. I don't remember what the numbers were, but he's done it both in his personal business and his personal situation at home. And he threw out a challenge. He said he thinks we all ought to be able to get to the point where we've saved $1 million. Thus far, I think last week he indicated on the ALC conference call that it was around $450,000 together. And $1 million seems like a ton of money, but if you stop and break it down, if you just use, for example, the head count in the Keller Williams Puget Sound office, it works out to about $3,300 per agent, which on an annual basis really isn't a big number. So I think that is extremely achievable, especially with both of our market centers. I would like to thank Pam and Dennis. Many of the agents may not be aware of this, but they have made a big contribution. Our rents for April and May have been reduced, and the tech fee, and I realize that the rent fee doesn't apply to everyone necessarily, but the tech fee does apply to everybody. And if you look at your monthly agent charges, this is the one area that is a local fee, and it is one of the things that they have decided to drop. The rest of those, we have to continue to pay E&O insurance and those kinds of things. We have to continue to pay Keller Williams International, but the tech fee has gone away, so there's a $30 savings per month for everybody. So just want to thank Pam and Dennis for paving the way for us to get everybody started on this process. For those that haven't yet done this, the best way, the best practice for cutting your expenses is to go ahead and look at your past 3 months checking and credit card statements. And really, what they recommend is just go through line by line, and if it's necessary, and absolutely it's going to remain necessary, mark that with an N or highlight that with a specific color. If it's something that is unnecessary, mark it with a U. And that's going to be something that you're going to cancel immediately when you get through with this process. If it's something that you think is a want or a lifestyle item, mark that with a W. And this is something you're going to have to go back and reevaluate your real need for it. And I submit that in most cases, a lot of those things are going to be much more of an opportunity to drop than we think. And even if they're not something you can drop, it may be something you can renegotiate. And I would ask you to not take for granted that things have to be paid or things have to be paid in full. Don't make assumptions about who's going to be willing to negotiate with you. Just call your vendors and ask for some relief. In many cases, some of these people are going to have to maybe be dropped in favor of a competitor who would take you on as a new client for a lower price. And we've had people doing this successfully with their cable bills, cell phones, mortgage, rents, all kinds of things. And clearly, until you ask that question, the answer is always going to be no. One of the other strong messages from Gary is, what do I not cut? And clearly, there are two things he is hell-bent for having us not cut, and that is our education and our accountability. Want to stick with your coach, don't be dropping your coaching, regardless of where it comes from. These are times that require a stronger accountability and much greater skills than what we've had in the past. And sometimes there may be even an opportunity, whether the business has dropped off or changed, but there may be an opportunity to look at the revenue side. What might you or your team members do in addition? For example, if you have an assistant or a transaction coordinator you're trying to keep on the payroll, but they're not filling up their time because the business is down, might be somebody else in the office who has had to let theirs go but still needs some help, or someone else who would like to take on some of that time for you. So there are ways to change the revenue side of your equation. You just have to be a little bit more creative. Take a look at what those opportunities might be. For lots of us, the other critical task at hand, I think, is building a business foundation beneath your real estate practice. Much like we have to come out of this with a much stronger connection with our databases and a full lead gen pipeline, we need to make sure we come back with a strong foundation beneath our business. And I'm going to make a little shameless plug here for Ignite 13. This is a class that's not technically a part of Ignite, but it's a program that kind of started with me in my days of being the designated broker at Windermere years ago. And I brought that course, sat down with Darren Campbell, and he and I have refined it. We present it with a CPA, Rick Oliveira, who has been very, very helpful in talking with people about corporate entities and what kind of expenses you can actually write off and what you can't write off safely, how to stay out of getting yourself into an audit with the IRS. But this is a program that is, it's become the 13th class with Ignite, and Darren has just done a fabulous job with adding a ton of resources that are super, super helpful. The biggest part of this, in fact, in terms of that list of resources, after the last class, Darren generated an email with a list of all those resources, and some of those things are very, very helpful. For example, like the links, if you're a brand new agent, you don't have a business license, or you don't have an employee identification number for your federal taxes. Those are the kinds of things that he takes you directly to. So it's just, Darren has just done a fabulous job with that. Obviously, we don't have time to talk about too much of that here, so I'll just hit a few of the big pieces. But the first is having a profit and loss statement. You'd be surprised how many realtors have been in this business for a long time and don't have a P&L. And for me, not having one of those is kind of like going to a football game and not having a scoreboard. It just doesn't make sense. If you have a P&L, you're going to have a system of tracking your expenses and your revenues, such as Quicken or QuickBooks. And there are plenty of others out there. I'm not here to dictate one over the other, but the fact is, it's better if you don't know which one to have. The answer to the question of which is best is, which one will I actually use? And at this point, if you don't have a P&L, there's really no way of knowing if you're making money. And to me, if that's the case, you don't really have a real business. What you've got is more like a real estate hobby, and someday the IRS will come back and make that painful for you. So particularly those people who are starting a real estate career at this point, you've got some downtime. It's flirting with disaster to not have these kinds of tools put in place. Another big one is to have a financial forecast. Some people like to call this a budget. I don't like to use that word because it makes most people crazy and it makes them withdraw. But a financial forecast, both for your personal life and your business life. Pam, not long ago, brought to the office a guy named John Bai, who did a great presentation. He has a pretty simple program. For those of you who are familiar with Dave Ramsey and the Financial Peace University, that's another great option. You can look that up online. A big part of this process for making sure that your business has a strong foundation is choosing a business structure. Should you be a one-man band? Should you be a partnership? Should it be an S Corp? Should it be a C Corp? Those are all the kinds of things that need to be settled up front and done to the point where you have the proper structure laid out as you start your business so you don't have to clean up a mess after the fact. Last thing is, in terms of your education, from a financial education, there's a couple things that many of us are working on within the office. There's a book called Profit First, from a guy named Mike Michalowicz. Great book. It talks about the first thing being you should be making a profit rather than having your profit come out of the bottom of the funnel after all the expenses are paid. That is something that it's a fairly quick read. He makes it reasonably enjoyable. And at this point, that is one of the things my team is launching into. I know Pam and lots of other people in the office have also been a part of that. Financial Peace University, this is a program that has been offered live and in person at our office several times, most recently by Dan and Cheryl Dennis. They are willing to do it again when we get back up and running. So that will be coming down the line. But in the short term, you can just Google Financial Peace University and find that online. And I know for a fact that there is a 14-day free trial. It's a 9-week class, but the first 2 weeks are free. So check it out. And I would strongly encourage you to take advantage of those kinds of opportunities. There was a question about when is the next Ignite number 13 is coming up in May. I checked with Goldie this morning. We don't have a specific date for it, but you can look when the calendar comes out. It'll likely be the end of May since it's the 13th class or at the tail end. Am I sorry for the sprint and the racing to get some information out, but it's been a good opportunity to share some bullet points, and hopefully if there's a way that I can help you personally, by all means, give me a call.
Thank you so much, Bill. By the way, a lot of the items that were talked about that Darren had put together, especially in that email, we're going to put those links on our Facebook pages today. She'll be able to see all the links to that, and any of the other uploads that might be PDFs, we'll make sure we upload those into the file section.
Excellent. That's huge.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bill. Sure appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yes. All right. Okay, guys. So the thing to understand more than anything is staying in activity, staying out of fear. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. We're finding our rhythm. I know I've talked to a lot of you and you're finding your rhythm, and stay with the facts. Our goal as your leadership team, as the ALC, as anybody all together, we're in this together. We're going to share data. We're going to share facts. We're going to make sure that you always are a step ahead and making sure you're getting your unfair share. All right, I hope you guys have a really powerful week. I hope you're in massive action this week, and we will see you again later on. By the way, make sure, don't miss Eavesdrop on the Top at 4 o'clock tomorrow. It's gonna be amazing. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you later. Bye.